Hello, everyone. A very good morning. Nice to see you all here. And in fact, I have met a couple of people over here online, but it's nice to see you guys in person, some of you over here. And let me introduce myself. My name is Ananth Narayanan. So I am the Chief Operating Officer of Dialogue in the Dark. Though I am the COO, but I call myself the CEO because I'm the Chief Everything Officer as well. I handle business community initiatives, social impact initiatives, and also the marketing part of Dialogue in the Dark. So probably I'm going to not maybe, I'm going to give you a landscape of persons with disabilities in India. And I'm going to talk about what kind of framework further supports the efforts that goes into strengthening the inclusion and the mainstreaming aspect of it. And also, what is it, for business leaders, HR leaders, and even people who have come here to, understand this landscape, and also, most importantly, people who are seeking jobs. What does it mean for them? So I'm going to take you through that journey as well. So can we get started? All right. So let me break it down with some, I would say, very basics in terms of the data points and also how the whole landscape is structured. So we have got about 2.68 crore population where we have persons with disabilities, but of course this number is as per census 2011 because it's still not updated because, but right now I would say the number is even more robust, especially with the diversification that has happened in terms of disabilities, where more and more disabilities have also been added. I'm going to cover that in the subsequent course as well. And what really astonished me in this is that almost, or I would say 1 crore PWDs are in the employable age of 18 to 35. But the problem is they have not been able to come into the mainstream workplace because of lack of access to good healthcare, education, and I would say most importantly the employability skills. That is the lack of skills which has always hampered them from entering the workplace. And that is the gap that needs to be bridged, apart from the accessibility provisions or the healthcare or the education that we, need to strengthen. But of course, you can ask me, does that mean that people have never found jobs? No, people have found jobs, but the number is very minuscule. We are talking about only about 1 lakh people who have found jobs, and that too because of the government reservation that's been pegged at 3%. And that's the only thing that has supported, and we are talking about this effort over the past 40 years. So this is where a lot of work has to be done, or I would say the work has been happening, but it needs further, I would say, strengthening. But let's move on to what has led to this kind of a scenario. So what we have understood in our research, or I would say our social impact journey of about close to 13 years, is that beyond all the barriers that we are talking about, the most important one which has led to this gap is the lack of encounters. The lack of encounters is where the most importantly, like for example, how many of us right here, I'm just talking about, have met a person with any disability during our school days where we studied with them, or probably even in college, or probably when we entered the workplace the first time, not the first time, or I would say at any point of the organization, have we met or have we interacted or have we developed that empathy quotient towards them rather than being sympathetic or acting on our unconscious bias. So this has been a major deterrent, I would say. And in fact, I also call it, the chicken and egg, or I would say the vicious chicken and egg story of DEI, which is many times when we, talk to people, we understand that they say, hey, since I don't know, since we don't see them on a regular basis, we don't know how to deal with them. And on another side, they say that since we don't know how to deal with them, we don't know how to include them. So where is the actual problem is where, we are, constantly trying to, create awareness and work. But what this has happened is in this conundrum that we've been dealing with, we have not been able to solve, and that has led to a mass ignorance. I wouldn't say this is an ignorance that happens consciously, but it's very unconscious. Since we don't know how to deal with it, we have never taken a step forward to, fix that problem. And of course, this has led to, I would say, further attitudinal barriers. Let me give an example when I say attitudinal barriers. Say, there was an organization where there was a person with speech and hearing impairment, found a job, and that was his very first day. And his induction was going on, and then probably during break time, he wanted to, go meet other people and all of that. And the organization also made it very clear about, how, they're going to become more diverse, and they're going to bring in a lot of persons with disabilities and all of that. But the problem is when this person with speech and hearing impairment entered, one of the cabins where people were sitting, they were all talking, meaning the people who were not, from the persons with disabilities community, they were talking, but all of a sudden they became quiet. And because they didn't know what to tell or how to greet this person, how to talk. But the reason they kept quiet is because they didn't want to do anything to offend this person. It was with a good intention, but what happened is this collective experience in multiple places made this person feel that they're indifferent. Actually, they didn't know how to deal with, or they didn't want to offend this person. That's about it. So many times it's about how it gets perceived. That's also a problem. And this is where, attitudinal barriers have to be, shattered right in the beginning, and people have to be more awareful of it. And then, of course, when this person becomes demotivated and when they lose this opportunity, we don't understand how important that opportunity is for this person. And that comes because we don't know what it is to be them. And that's where the lack of empathy as a problem comes in. And all of this collectively, majorly, has led to exclusion, or I would say the problem that has contributed to this kind of a skewed scenario that we have. But when I talk about all of this, what has it led to? I would say an ill effect at a macroeconomic level is what actually kind of blew me. And it says that the World Bank has estimated that we are looking at a global GDP loss of about 5 to 7% just because we have not, mainstream persons with disabilities. And imagine when we're talking about others diverse identity groups, it's going to be even more staggering. So that's the kind of, I would say scenario that we have been dealing with now.